Trinity caught a whiff of herself and gagged. Am I seriously in heat? In the middle of class? Trinity's human classmates didn't have to deal with being in heat once a month. To be fair, most of her fellow college freshmen weren't werewolves. Now all my classmates will think I don't know how to use deodorant. I'll never get a mate, human or wolf. Trinity had the quintessential perks of being half-wolf. She was faster than humans and stronger, too. No human had bullied her since a human boy tried to take her pink milk in 2nd grade. Trinity had instinctively shoved him away from it, accidentally sending him flying across the lunchroom. She'd only been trying to save him from drinking blood milk, a werewolf delicacy. But the incident made Trinity's classmates terrified of her from then on. I hate how bothered I get in heat. I'd pounce on any of these boys right now, and the jock boy isn't even my type. It was bad enough being wolfless as an adult, but being wolfless and mateless was a living hell. Trinity gazed at the toned, tattooed soccer player in front of her. She unclenched her teeth and tried to relax. There's my first hot flash. I am so in heat. And it's the day before the Harvest Moon Festival. Can everyone in the whole class smell me? Should I leave? Donna's blonde hair whipped around as she grabbed her nose. Damn, Trin. Really? Trinity's neck felt like it was on fire with shame. No matter how hard Trinity tried to break away from her old nemesis, their paths seemed fated to weave together. Donna was a relentless she-wolf. But there was one other wolf in biology class. Juniper. Trinity's best friend in the whole world. She leaned over and tapped Juniper on the shoulder. Junie, is it really that bad? Juniper sniffed. Oh, girlie. Juniper reached into her bag and handed Trinity a perfume bottle. Let's get you fixed up. Meet you in the bathroom in 5. Trinity tossed her wavy brown hair into a high ponytail and spritzed herself with Juniper's perfume. She sighed. Oh, too short for wolves, too tall for humans, too tan for a mate, too pale for a boyfriend, too wolf for Dad to stick around, and too embarrassingly human for Mom to avoid taking her life. This perfume can't cover up how worthless I am. Juniper burst into the ladies' room. You okay, Trin? Trinity rolled her eyes. Oh, I'm great. Lots of cramps and hot flashes and dirty thoughts. We're gonna do some major work on you before the festival, don't you worry, Juniper chirped happily. Trinity let out a cynical laugh. Junie, please. You think I'm going? I'm practicing boundaries with myself. No more public humiliation for me. The alpha would laugh his ass off if he found out some wolfless girl showed up hoping to be his match. How would the goddess fate me to be a Luna if I don't have a wolf? Juniper stomped her foot. Trinity Witten, you're going. I'll drag you if I have to. The alpha's hosting it at his own house. I've heard he's hot. And you're not a girl, Trin. You're a woman. You never know what fate the goddess has planned for you. There'll be plenty of other single wolves there too, Trin, not just the alpha. Juniper wiggled her eyebrows playfully. Trinity groaned and covered her face. Oh, I don't want to think about boys anymore. I'll be lucky if I end up like you and Paul someday. You guys are perfect. I should just go home and sleep. Be better than craving every piece of meat in sight. Juniper reapplied her lipstick. But if you sleep, you'll have dreams. Very hot dreams. Don't worry, Trin. You won't hate the cravings once you find your mate. Trust me. The best friends shot knowing glances at each other and laughed. Trinity lifted her arms. Okay. Final test. Did the perfume do any good? Carter, Trinity's obnoxious, lovable older cousin, waved from his rumbling jeep. Why so early, Trin? Don't want to stay after class with the professor for some extra credit? Trinity hopped in, glad to be with the one guy who she would never want to make out with. I'm not interested in my grandfatherly psych professor, thank you very much. Carter turned away and pinched his nose. Damn, Trin, you in heat? Trinity turned away from him. Why do you think I asked you to pick me up? Just drive. Carter peeled out of the parking lot as fast as he could. I really did think it was the professor thing. You seem like the type. Trinity smacked him in the arm. You're such a perv, Trinity said, rolling her eyes. She grabbed the door handle as they whipped through the windy roads. Can you drive like a sane person? You need to get your own car, dude, Carter groaned. Trinity crossed her arms. Grandfather won't just buy me one like he did for you. Carter couldn't meet her eyes as he muttered, I'm sure it's not personal. Trinity shook her head. You really don't think it has to do with the fact that I'm the half-wolf bastard of the family? I wish he'd just come out and disown me. Carter frowned. Hey, chill with that, Trin. Don't talk about yourself that way. Trinity had long fantasized about her grandfather coming out and saying how he really felt about her. You're the reason this family lives in disgrace. You're the reason your mother took her life. Trinity laughed in her mind. He'd never say that. Even if he did, it would crush me. I hate how much I care what he thinks. Carter sighed. You might as well get all those negative thoughts out of your head now, Trin. We got a guest tonight. Trinity looked at her cousin to see if he was serious. No, please don't tell me it's who I think it is. Aunt Eve's signature cranberry glazed rabbit wafted through the house. It was the first scent of the day that had been a respite from Trinity's whirlwind of shame, paranoia, and lust. When she stepped into the front hall, Trinity caught a whiff of damp fur and mildew. Her appetite vanished. I knew it. Grandfather stepped into the room and gave Carter a hearty handshake. How are you, grandson? Carter smiled diplomatically. Good, Grandfather. What about you? Grandfather looked Trinity right in the eyes. I've been better. The old man walked back into the living room. Dinner's ready. A warm voice sang from the kitchen. Trinity's heart jumped. She scurried into the kitchen and squeezed her aunt as hard as she could. Hi, Aunt Eve. Aunt Eve was the one who saw through Trinity's cheap smiles and fiery comebacks. While everyone in the pack looked at the outside, Aunt Eve took the time to look at Trinity's heart. She treated Trinity like a precious jewel, knowing the deep pain Trinity had harbored all these years. She was the mother Trinity never had. Aunt Eve kissed her on the cheek. Don't let him get to you, okay? Trinity took her usual seat across from Carter. With Grandfather on her left and Aunt Eve on her right, she felt like she was on trial. Thanks be to the goddess, Grandfather said before he dug in. What Trinity hated most about her grandfather was how handsome he was. He was tall, muscular, and had a full head of white hair. He didn't deserve it. He should have looked more like the hate-fueled man he was. Grandfather glared at Trinity. The Harvest Moon Gathering is an ancient tradition. Every member of the Red Springs pack has attended it to find their true mate for thousands of years. As Beta Elder of our pack, I promised your attendance at the gathering. You're an eligible female and you're in my bloodline. I'm not going, Trinity stated bluntly as she cut into her meat. No alpha would ever match with me. I don't have a wolf, which is why I haven't attended any of the other mating events this year. Why break the streak? Grandfather shot her a stern glare. Why you think you could excuse yourself from such an important night, Trinity, is impossible to understand. The Harvest Moon is a high time of blessing. Everyone finds a mate. Regardless, this gathering is hosted by a prime alpha, one who's from a significant family. Any female would be lucky to have him. I've heard he's quite handsome, Aunt Eve chimed in. Trinity had lost her appetite amidst the hot flashes, painful thoughts, and rage. The elk blood guy? The moment he hears my name, he'll run for the hills. Everyone knows I'm the Wolfless girl. Aunt Eve glanced nervously between them. Father, I have to admit, it would be cruel to force her to go. Hasn't she gone through enough? She'll have gone through enough when she finds a mate. Her mother was a wolf, may she rest in peace. She will honor the family line. Trinity let her silverware fall on her plate. I heard this alpha's been eligible for years. How old is he, 30? 21, Grandfather grunted as he pointed his knife at Trinity. Carter laughed. 21? What is he, half warlock? What's wrong with the poor bastard? Aunt Eve gave her son a stern scowl. Carter, stop it. Seriously, you might want to check his criminal record. Carter cracked up, his mouth full of food. Suddenly, his eyes bulged. Aunt Eve banged the table. Carter, not funny. Carter held his hands to his throat and gasped. Trinity leapt over and gave him a walloping pound on the back. Carter lurched forward and coughed. A slimy chunk of rabbit flew from out of his mouth and splattered onto Grandfather's face. Aunt Eve gasped. A mound of golden brown goop slid down the stunned elder's forehead. Carter caught his breath. Whoops. Trinity handed Grandfather a napkin. He snatched the napkin and shot up from his seat, wiping the goop off his face. He slammed his hand down on the table. Trinity, you're going to the damn gathering whether you like it or not, he yelled, pointing a crooked finger at Trinity. He wiped his face and stormed out of the room. Trinity covered her mouth, unable to suppress her grin. Maybe the goddess doesn't hate me after all. Grandfather sucks. If I had a wolf, I'd have taken wolf form right there at the dinner table and clawed his old eyes out. Trinity had already forgotten what her term paper was supposed to be about. The hot flashes were coming in waves. She spun her pencil. Who am I kidding? I'd never do that. What? Trinity yelled, louder than she meant to. Aunt Eve opened the door and grabbed something from the hallway. She held up a blood-red dress, as bold as it was elegant. The delicate silk was more elegant than any dress Trinity had ever seen. Oh, goodness, Aunt Eve, what is that? Please don't tell me you got me this. Aunt Eve handed Trinity the dress. It wasn't me, dear, and it wasn't Carter. If you want to return it, you'll have to beg your grandfather to let you wear something else. But I suggest you wait until morning. He's not in a great mood. Trinity held the dress up in awe. When is he ever? Aunt Eve hugged Trinity before shutting the door. Trinity laid the dress down on her bed and stared at it, admiring the long, with thin shoulder straps and a low, square back. She ran her finger down the leg opening on the right side. Shit, that's more of me than I want people to see. I just can't believe it. Grandfather? Giving me this gorgeous piece of art? Imagine if he gave me this because he loved me. Yeah, right. Trinity had avoided a dress like this all her life, ones that would show that she was always hiding with her oversized casual clothes, curvy features and smooth skin. Don't show it if you can't use it, she always told herself. She stood in front of the mirror, running her fingers down the sleek fabric. Looks like I'll be the prettiest loser at the gathering. The most boring gathering. I mean, what could ever happen for me? And that was the first of Trinity's beliefs about to be shattered.